What's up, Alabama fans? This is Brandon, aka Fresh, here to drop another video again as we get closer to fall camp about to start. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you hit the like button. Smash the like button for me one time. Definitely appreciate those likes. Appreciate all the love that we get. It's been great, guys. I'm loving bringing this content to you. It's been very humbling to see the response that we've been getting just all across the board. So again, continue to rock with us, continue to stay locked in with us. Make sure you're subscribed. Let's go. All right, so the title of this video today, guys, I know y'all saw the thumbnail. You see the title. Just a quick little recap of what Dallas Turner, and not just him, but really just the mindset and the representation as it is coming from these Alabama football players, something that is just a little different. And I touched on this on some of the videos that I've had here previously. But we're talking about joyless murder ball. For those of y'all who are like, what does that mean? You're probably not in a lot of Alabama online circles, whether it's on Twitter or message boards or whatever. You may or may not, understand what that term means in layman's terms. And just basically it's going back to the days when Alabama was just running through people and there was really no resistance. Kind of like when you're playing a team like Georgia State or something like that, typically going to get a blowout score, and it's not going to be anything close. It's going to be one of those 55-3 at best games. And they're fun for about 10-15 minutes, and then it just kind of gets like, okay, yeah, it's cool, Alabama scored, okay, Alabama got to stop, but what does this really mean? And you're just like, okay, great, but you're glad because Alabama is doing what it's supposed to be doing, but it's just like, okay, can we get an exciting game? There's no major excitement. But that's the standard. That's the standard that Alabama has set at one point, especially, with that reign that Alabama had from, you could really argue, majority of Nick Saban's tenure, but really probably that 2016 to 2020, there was a lot of those moments where that was taking place. Even as bad as the defense was in a lot of those years, the offense was just going through people. That was when Nick Saban started to really adopt and adapt a lot of the new offensive principles, where playing a little bit slower wasn't really where he was going. He kind of started trying to evolve with the times, a little bit more spread, a little bit more, really when Lane Kiffin came in 2014, you started seeing a lot more of that, the hurry up, no huddle offense, that he brought to Alabama, and started implementing that more so. But then when Alabama was really dominating in that 2016 season on defense, just blowing teams out. And then 2017, when, same thing, 2018, 2019, big numbers from Tua, just absolutely just crushing it. You start seeing more of that starting to come more frequently, and that's where you started hearing that term start to be thrown around a lot more. Joyless murder ball, and didn't really see a whole lot of that in the past year, especially last year. So many close games, so many, which they're exciting, but you're playing Arkansas, and there was a time when you're playing Arkansas and that was a blowout game. There was a time when you were playing the Texas A&M. If Johnny Manziel's not on the other side, you pretty much had your way with the Texas A&M for the most part. And both of those games, were really close. Now, granted, you had a backup quarterback, but still, that didn't stop Alabama in years past. But there was just a lot more teams that you weren't expecting Alabama to be in games with, and just, like I said, the standard just wasn't there. So you got people like Dallas Turner saying, the expectation is joyless murder ball. That's what the expectation is. You got J.C. Latham saying that we're locked and loaded, y'all. Like, this is a whole different team. Like, we're not playing no games. If you're not with the program, you need to get gone. Simple as that. Like when, and I said this in the last video, when have you heard this, all of this talk from Alabama players about toughness and culture and expectations to this degree? I don't recall it in a long time. A lot of it you really didn't even have to even be said, you know, but this time, you know, you're starting to wonder, you know, are these guys really, you know, do they really believe, are they buying what they're selling? You know, because you can say whatever, you can, you know, do lip service all day long, but are you buying what you're selling? And to a man, it's starting to feel as though, okay, this might be a team where they've gotten a little bit tired of hearing from the fans. They're tired of hearing from the alumni. And when I say alumni, I'm talking about former players who have done this, been there, done that, who have set the standard. Because we got guys like our guy over here, Mike McCoy, who's a really good friend of TDA, does a lot of appearances with us and for us. He did a show with Steven. If it wasn't last season, it was the year before that. Or one of those very recently, where he said there's too many nice guys on the team. Or he may have said there's no mean guys. No mean guys on the team. When have you heard that be synonymous or said from an Alabama Nick Saban-led team? That everybody seems to just be, oh yeah, it's cool, I'm an Alabama player, yeah man. Like, when have we known that? There's been Alabama players that's been fighting on the sideline, where there's been memes or jokes about Alabama players, you know, smoking Black and Miles and got, I don't really want to get into too many of that type of talk, but, you know, the whole point of it was that there's an edge, you know, and you're starting to feel like, man, you know, you're getting too many guys that are like pampered, like, you know, they got a pampered type mentality, a pampered type background. And not to say that you got to be from a certain I don't subscribe to, I don't think you got to be from a certain background to be tough. If you can strap up a football helmet and put the pads on and you know how to play, there's plenty of guys who come from all over, whether it's from, you know, quote unquote good backgrounds or not so great backgrounds, and they'll knock your head off. Doesn't really matter. It's about a mentality, you know. But what he was saying was, regardless of that, this is not enough mean guys. Y'all too nice. Ain't nobody on this team that I'm scared of. When I look at it, I said, man, I would hate to strap up against this guy. And when have you heard that synonymous with Alabama football? You can just go back to when Jonathan Allen was running Alabama's defense. Then you had the next year, Rashaan Evans in 2017. And then after that, you're like, I don't know. Quentin Williams, comes to mind in the 2018 year. And then it just started to slowly fall off, where you're like, man, I don't know if there's anybody that just has that, you know, when you look and you see a Rolando McClain, you know, on the other side of the ball, and you're like, man, this guy's got a couple of screws loose. You know, you got Tony Browns of the world that's got a couple of screws loose, you know. CJ Mosley, who, you know, seems so unassuming, but when he's on the football field, he is trying to absolutely rip your heart out. That's the type of players that you just felt like you weren't seeing all across the board. And these guys are talking like, hey man, we tired of hearing that. We tired of hearing people say that, you know, we're not tough, we're not whatever. So there's the expectation. So I'm curious, you know, when fall camp gets around, are we going to start hearing, you know, there's been some fights in the locker room. There's been somebody slapping somebody upside the head because you're doing a drill wrong. Y'all not hustling. You're not listening to the coaches when they talk. I mean, whatever the case may be, are the players going to be held accountable? And you heard another clip from one of the players that says, you know, our team and our defense especially is going to be player led. You know, we're not going to just, you know, follow solely the lead of the coach. Yes, you want obviously the players to hone in on what the coaches are saying. That's to be understood. However, and I've told y'all, you know, speaking from a basketball perspective, you know, from, you know, my own personal, when the players are the ones that are leading drills and the players are the ones that are policing each other, you have something. Doesn't mean that you're gonna win every single game or win a championship, but you have something. And if you have that along with them having talent, then that's when you have something special. So again, this is, time will tell. Time will tell whether or not, this is a thing or not, or, Dallas Turner and these other guys are just saying things just to say it and it sounds good. We will find out very quickly. We will find out at Middle Tennessee, regardless of what their skill set and talent level is. You'll notice, some of the little nuances that you felt like you weren't seeing in the past couple of years. Will you see the same sort of mental errors? The pre-snap penalties, the post-snap penalties, or after the whistle blows penalties, those types of stuff that you just didn't see when Alabama was, winning a national championship every other year. Those are things that were just not synonymous of a Nick Saban-led team. Is Alabama trying to reestablish its culture, which I've talked about, because the culture was broken. And I don't want to get into the names of who kind of infiltrated and all that. You already know kind of where I'm going with that. But the culture has to be reestablished. And if joyless murderball is the expectation, and that's what they're saying out of their mouths, man, it's going to be something. I want to see some fireworks. I want to hear about some fireworks. I want to hear some stuff that comes out of fall camp. And we're going to be right there to give y'all as much information as possible. I can't wait to hear what we may hear. And we'll see what happens. So if joyless murderball is the expectation, hey, let me know what y'all think. I'm definitely curious to see what we have to say about that one. All right. Well, that's all I got for y'all on this video. Make sure if you have not done so, please hit that like button, smash that like button. You already know I love to get to 100 likes. 100 is the minimum. And make sure you are subscribed. Hit the notification bell as well. Make sure you're liking us, or I say that all the time, make sure you're following us on our other social media platforms, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Follow us on all of those. We are wide open on all of them, y'all. Giving y'all the best content we can muster on Alabama football circles. And also make sure you get yourself a subscription to touchdownalabama.com. Support us there. It's so appreciated. We appreciate all of y'all out there who have just been helping us grow over the past 16 years. It's been wonderful. And I appreciate it, me personally, and I know everybody over here at TDA appreciates it. But that's all I got. If you like what you like, share this with your favorite Alabama fan. Until the next time, this is Brandon, aka Fresh, signing off.